Hi everyone, it's Michelle from Country Morning Creations. Today I'm doing a process video on making, for lack of better words, I'm going to call them snippet magnets. Very much like the snippet rolls I've seen a lot of people doing online, either doing videos of or sharing their snippet rolls. And so I thought, I would like to do magnets. And the reason I wanted to do magnets was I got this. It's a metal roofing piece, if you will, and I did get it from a company called Through the Porthole, and I will link them below. But it's this really cool thing, and magnets stick to it, as you can see. And I wanted to do a set of magnets that I could have on here to put things like my to-do lists on it. This is an example of one that I did last night, and I thought, you know what, let's just do this together today. So it's a couple of different layers. There's some fabric that I have a little bit of cheesecloth under there, some lace, a safety pin, a little Tim Holtz thing, and these are those flowers that I make. And actually I'll probably do a tutorial on how to make those even. I think they're a lot of fun. And what I'm using, I actually just bought these buttons at magnetic buttons, if you will, at Walmart. Any Walmart has them. And they're really cool. They come with a peel-off back. So this peels off and there's something sticky behind it. What I've found is if you use something like this that comes with its own adhesive on the back, it needs to lay flat for a while. At least 12 hours, 24 is better before you try hanging it up. If you don't do that, it doesn't give the adhesive long enough and things will pull away. So far, my adhesive has held on the one that I made last night, but I let it lay flat overnight. And so basically if it falls off, grab your Fabri-Tac or E6000 is probably even better and glue it back on. So let's get started. I'm going to move this aside and grab a piece of parchment paper. My husband gave me giant pieces of parchment paper that are left over. We live on a summer camp, and so we got a lot of this was left over from some project somewhere. So for these, my magnets are 1 inch round, and I cut some pieces of fabric. This is actually the edge, and I loved that there was this little bit of fringe, if you will, on the edge. So I decided to keep it. And those of us who craft, we have tons of just little pieces of things laying around. And I thought this would be a great way to use them up. So what I'm going to do, to me, it's more difficult to put this on and then start layering. I'm going to layer first, and then we'll glue it on. So I like that layer, and then I have some just chunks of cheesecloth I'm going to put on here. Let's just cut a piece of cheesecloth off, and we're gonna layer that up with I have Fabri-Tac today, or this is Fabri-Fix. They're basically the same thing as far as I can tell, but you never know. And then I'm going to just kind of dot this around because cheesecloth is very porous, if you will. You don't need a lot of glue to hold it down. So we're going to just stick the cheesecloth on. So that's our next layer. And then I want to do a piece of lace over top of this, and all of that will show through. And I want to use one of these, and this kind of lace works really well for this because these are about 1.5 inches wide. So when you cut them off, they work really, really well. So I'm just going to cut that off, and this is going to be our next layer. And if you put it down before the cheesecloth has a chance to dry, it'll just stick straight through the cheesecloth. I'm going to show you how to make mini tickets because I thought this would be really cute with some mini tickets on it this time. I always end up with these little tiny long strips of cardstock or paper when I'm cutting them down for my journals. This, I made a mini one. Tickets are usually 1 by 2 of whatever length and width you're using. So this was a long piece of that paper that I had that was a 1/2 inch wide. So I made it a 1/2 inch by 1 full inch. And then you just take a regular corner punch and you're just going to punch a tiny bit off the corners like that. And we're going to just do that all the way around on this, and you end up with a little mini ticket. So now I have this cute little mini ticket, and I'm going to put one on here, and I'm going to put 2 of them on this, I think. So let's make another one real quick. Probably should have pre-made these, but I didn't, so now you get to watch me make them. But I think, I'm not quite sure, I was messing around with stuff and came up with this as a way to do it. So there's 2 mini tickets, and then I think I'm going to put, I think I'm going to put one of my flowers on this as well, kind of like that. So what I need to do, I'm going to grab some Tim Holtz Distress Oxide. What did I grab? I grabbed the walnut stain. And I want to edge these a little bit to give them, so they stand out just a little bit better. And I have some black soot on here already, so that's also going to help just darken up the edges. I am not the kind of person who changes these pads every time I change my ink. So it all gets mixed together. It's okay. Everybody has their own thing that they do. And one of mine is, I just like to save money and keep my ink pads together. So we just do that. And there's that. So those 2, and I want to ink this up a little bit too, this flower. Get it a little bit more grungy. Sometimes I don't grunge these up because I'm using them in a more modern application. But for this, I want it a little bit grungy, and I think I'm actually going to grunge a little bit on the bottom here too. Ooh! I know, I always surprise myself. So now the next question is, do we want to do this? Do we want to do them straight down? Do we want to do them straight across? I am the type person who I love things that are askew. And I think that looks great. So the last thing we're going to do is glue all of this together. I'm going to start by gluing just one of these. So we're going to glue one down. And then we're going to glue the other one down, and then we're going to put that flower on top, and we're going to attach this to the magnet. And I'll tell you, one of the things I've learned is don't spend too much time thinking about things. I know that I am definitely guilty of spending hours thinking about, oh, should I do it this way? Should I do it that way? How long should I do this? What will it take? So just go. Make a decision quickly and go. And I have found that it always turns out great. So just keep going and don't regret your decision. So these come with a little piece of paper on the back, and that reveals your sticky part. Oops, I just glued this whole thing down to my paper. Well, there you go. And so I just kind of glue it in the middle and stick it like that. And there you go. You have a snippet magnet. Let's just make one more because I have a couple of other random pieces and I want to do something a little bit differently this time. I think what I'm going to do, I will, oh, you know what else is great? I'm going to use this. I have this 1.5 inch punch. And then I have brown, just regular cardstock. And I am just going to punch a 1.5 inch circle out. We'll use that as our base this time. And I love how the brown stands out. But before we do anything, let's grungy this one up a little bit too. Nothing says vintage like a little bit of grunge around the outside of the edge. So I love grunging things up. I do have to blame Nick the Booksmith for my love of all things grungy. I'm quite sure she would be ecstatic to hear that she's converted someone else. I didn't like it when I first started doing journaling, and then I really have learned to love grungy. Okay, we're going to do 2 of these on this. And I think I may do a couple of layers. Do I want to do something? No. Let's do it not quite so wide. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. We can do some layering these up like this and overlap them. Ooh! I know, it doesn't take much to get me really excited. And then we could layer another piece of lace on that. Up here. And then we could do one more piece of lace, and I know exactly what I'm thinking of to go up there. At the very top, let's do a little bit of this lace up at the very, very top. So it's not going to look very round anymore, and that's okay. Again, the trick to layering is to not think too hard and just start working with your layers that you have, and just keep layering things up and over on top of each other. So we're going to put that piece down. Let's glue this other piece of lace. Yes, my fingers get all sticky. Anything, glue, you end up with all kinds of sticky things on your fingers, and it's okay. It's all good. So we're going to layer those 2 on top of each other. Then we're going to layer this piece next. Ooh, actually, I'm going to put a little bit of this behind it. And then we'll layer that piece next, because I don't think it's going to stand out. It's too brown. It's like the brown of the cardstock. So I just want to put a little bit of glue on this part to hold down a little bit of the cheesecloth. Put that down and get the cheesecloth on there. Cheesecloth falls apart really easily, I keep thinking. And then we're going to put a layer of this lace on top of the cheesecloth. Oh, there you go. Now it stands out. And then I love this. I think I get this at Hobby Lobby. And I love using this for all kinds of different things. And maybe we'll put 2 rows on. Let's just see where we go with this. And I'm going to put this row on next. And I think I'm going to put another row. Nope, not. So that kind of counters the light color there. And then what I made a couple of different things last night. So this has a little bell and a little crown on it. And I thought this would be really cute to hang off of this and do something like that. I also have a little key, so I could hang a key on this. I think we could even just glue the key onto this. I like things that hang though, and I think that's a little bit more fun. So what I'm going to do is where did it go? I have some pins that I have from, I think they're Tim Holtz. I have these, and I also have these loop pins. I think I'm going to use a loop pin instead. I think it's really cute when things hang. And I think I'm just going to do for today, I think I'm going, and these come in all different colors. I think that's also very cool. So you just kind of pick out the one you want. And I think I'm just going to hang this key off of this loop pin. So I'm going to put the key on. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? First, I'm going to grab my, I keep all my jewelry making supplies, if you will, here. And I'm just going to put a jump ring on this real quick. Let me grab my tools. Let's put a jump ring on this so it will lay flat when it hangs. And let me just grab a jump ring real quick. There's a matching jump ring. The trick to jump rings, and this is just my understanding, I'm not an expert on this by any length of the imagination, is you never want to pull them apart, you want to twist them. They need to twist instead, because if you pull them apart, you actually weaken them, and then they won't be any good when you try to use them again. So it's literally just taking them and twisting them apart and then twisting them back together. And then here's my little jump pin. And I'm going to pin this. Let's pin this one kind of off center because I love things off center. I don't want to pin this in the middle. So we're just going to pin that on. And then we have that hangs off of it. That is so cute. So let me grab another button magnet out of my pile. And we're going to just do something that way. And how cute is that? That turned out really cute. And you can use all kinds of things on making your layered magnets. I also have a bunch of, these are cardboard die cuts. These would be really cute. I'll probably make some with these. Just grab all your laces. A lot of times we have just like a little tiny bit of lace left over, and that, what are you going to use it for? So use that to do your magnets with. Leftover scraps of paper, these are great for those sorts of things. So we have this one, and we have this one, and we have this one. So again, don't be afraid to just do all kinds of layers, and it's going to look fabulous no matter what you do. So I hope you've enjoyed this process with me video, and I hope I've inspired you to be creative today.